Firing it up. It says we're live, but I gotta wait for it to come up over here so I can mute it. Otherwise, Dennis, I see Dennis in.
Yeah, Dennis is here.
Hey, what's up? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Drone Therapy Season 2, Episode 17, Introductory GPS and Zino Nation, with our special guest, Professor Zino, Marcus Crawford. So basically, we're going to be talking about kinds of different drones and stuff tonight, and I'm going to throw in some questions here and there, but it's going to be kind of a Ron and Marcus show. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it to my other co-host, Bill, the drone reviewer.
Thank you very much, Bill. Really looking forward to having the Zino professors pontificate tonight about the Zino. Look, that should be fantastic. I'm sorry, I just thought that was.
Good. You just
anyway.
Can we use that, Bill?
Yes, you can use that, Ron. I'm going to be interjecting some questions to Ron and to Marcus. You guys are in for a treat. These guys. If you pray that nothing happens to them, because we won't know what's going on with the Zino if it does. Got some brief DJI updates. They did update the firmware on the Osmo Pockets. We'll talk a little bit about that. And also, we don't know what's going on April 23rd. So we'll talk a little bit about what we don't know. So, and with all that, I'm going to pass that on to Mr. Zino Nation himself, Ron Brown.
Thank you so much, Bill. I'm glad to be here tonight. It's going to be a great show tonight. We have the great Marcus Crawford in the house tonight, and we're going to get into the Zino and some depth tonight. But I also don't want to. I want to get back to Bill H about his show last night, where he had Rick Smith on from the great state of New Jersey, and they have talked about a couple of DJI rumors that are going to be big in the news here pretty soon. Like he said, maybe April 23rd. So we want to get into that a little bit. We don't make it don't the DJI haters out there. It's not going to be the DJI show, but we're going to have our own DJI segment. So on that note, I'm going to pass it to the great Deadthomas to get this thing kicked off.
Well, basically, all I wanted to do before they went and got into some Zino and some other drones, I can see. I'm not sure. What is it? It's Nick Mark. I don't want to say it wrong, but the gentleman from
he's the Drone Seekers. He's from the Drone Seekers.
Drone Seekers. Glad to see you in the house.
Just call it that.
Glad to see you. Cole, glad to see you. Brian, True Drone Reviews, glad to see you. Rick Halber, and I heard you talking earlier about wanting to fly around forest fires. I do believe I was going to ask you about that later too. John Coopy in the house. Dennis, next week's guest. Dennis Lovelady. That's Lovelady. Dennis Lovelady. I thought like a Bond motif would be kind of cool, Dennis. What do you think about that? And I can see Ron's in the house. I can see Art's in the house. Of course, Ron, Bill, and Marcus and everybody else is here. I can see Whiz Bang further up in there. Let me roll back up a little bit. Thomas O'Sullivan in the house. Have about got everybody covered. I believe. Zachary Key early on, I see where he came in and said, howdy, David Ma, at the very beginning before we were in pre-show. Hello. Thank you very much for being here. We're grateful. And with that being said, I'm going to transfer it over to Marcus and let him introduce himself to everybody here. Marcus?
Hey, everybody. Marcus Crawford here from the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, so I really first want to thank the two Bills and Ron for inviting me on the show today. It's I consider it a privilege. These are people that have been very helpful to me to learn about drones, etc. But one of the things that really got Ron and I connected was this little guy right here, the Hubsan Zino. This is the drone that people love to hate for whatever reason. It is, it probably is not the most sophisticated product on the market, but it does a lot of things really well. It's a darn good GPS drone that's got a pretty darn good camera on it. And I'm just kind of an advocate for the money. That I just think it's a great value. So that's kind of a lot of what we're talking about today. One of the things that I advocate on my channel is for people that can't necessarily, that are thinking about the hobby, that don't want to go out and spend $500 or $1,000 or $1,500 on a GPS drone yet, to be able to try some of the lower priced stuff. So I test some of the little lower priced drones and that can give people an introduction. And I think the Zino is probably that next step up. So I'll go, Ron.
I want to echo what Marcus says here. I think, before the Zino came out, we all had our little toy drones. We had our, Hubsan 501s and our, I'm trying to think of our Bugs, MGX Bugs, and they were all great little drones. They were great flyers. They were great fun. They had GPS, some of them. But, at the end of the day, they all basically had 2 megapixel unstabilized cameras. And, only your relatives would watch the video from the things, because, nobody really wants to watch 10 minutes of shaky, all over the place, up and down video. And the Zino is the first kind of came out of toy grade roots or whatever, that actually has a camera that somebody besides a family member would actually watch for more than a minute or two.
Are those big rubber bands?
Yeah. I don't have a fancy DJI strap or whatever to hold the propeller, so I just use a big old rubber band.
That's the Hubsan strap.
Yeah, that's the. Hey, you could order off ronbrown.com. It only costs you $9.99 with free shipping or whatever.
And Ron will autograph them.
I use $8.99 for multicolors.
That's right.
Right, that costs extra.
I use one of my wife's hair scrunchies. It works, man.
That's the upgrade. That's the upgraded model.
Man. Talking about modification right now, man. And as we speak, I am updating
51%.
Muy bueno.
Updating firmware.
Let's hear it for the Osmo.
I wonder what it does. Wait. Let's see. Added tip prop, display icon when connecting, and an external microphone. Added options in settings to turn off the beeping sound when pressing buttons. Optimize UI for pro settings. Optimize face detection. Reduce focus pulsing when switching between scenes. Wow, very good.
So Marcus, tell us a little bit about how you got the Zino, when you got it, how long you've had it.
Yeah, so I guess I want everybody to understand that, hey, like most of us, I'm a big DJI fan too. There's a Phantom and Mavic 2 Zoom, etc. And I just bought a Spark, so that DJI is kind of what I think probably attracted a lot of us. But I started hearing about this little Hubsan drone with a 3-axis gimbal, and it really piqued my interest. And they did an Indiegogo campaign where they offered it for $299. So I jumped in on that, and I got one of the early ones. I guess I got my Zino about mid-December or so. And so I've been through all of the upgrades and so forth that tend to be kind of controversial, because there's some people that struggle. It's not like a DJI drone where it automatically upgrades all the firmware for you when you turn it on. You have to upgrade the flight controller, you have to upgrade the firmware for the gimbal, and you have to upgrade the firmware for the FPV, which is the camera.
Right. And you can't do it with your phone.
You cannot do it with your phone. It is a manual operation where you're connecting it to your computer.
Windows only computer.
That's true. I have a Windows computer, so I didn't even think about that. It doesn't work for Apple, does it?
No.
And then recently, the one that was really controversial and threw people for a loop, and I can say I think Ron and I both were a little nonplussed when we first saw it, and that was upgrading this controller. There's let me see if I can open it up here real quick and show it to you. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to see this, but there's some pins under there that you had to jump together in order to do the upgrade. And so that was really a challenge for a lot of people. You know, DJI would never do something like that, but it added some good functionality to the product. So it was worth doing. So you do, I guess, if you're going to fly the Zino, you want to have a little bit of technical ability.
True. It's more of a hobbyist drone than say a Spark would be. Spark would be for somebody that never touched a drone before in their life and they want to get into something without a lot of fuss. I still would advise the Zino as somebody's first experience ever with a drone.
Unless they already have a technical background.
Right.
Totally.
They're coming. Yeah.
Totally agree with that assessment. The other, I think one of the biggest misconceptions about this product is that it's got that 3-axis gimbal there, and people buy it thinking that they're buying a cheap Mavic, and it just is not that. Look at the bottom here. There are no sensors. There's nothing out there. In fact, you pull the battery out and half the drone's gone. So it really has no external sensors. The only thing that tells this little drone where it's at in space is GPS, and it does have a barometer inside there. So it is not steady Eddie. We're used to our DJI drones that they'll just sit there like a rock and will not move. That is not this drone. I see people. So there was a guy that was complaining. He goes, "Oh, I flew it into the trees and I did a turn and it rose up a little bit, and went into the branches." Well, yeah, you're in the trees. It's blocking the GPS, and it has no other way of knowing where it's at. Yeah, it could happen. So it's not a drone I would fly through the trees. So you get another guy the other day. I saw in there. He made some comments. He goes, "Wow," he goes, "that thing is just trash. They need to put some sensors on it." He goes, "Instead of buying that, I bought a pair of Anafi." The Anafi is an awesome product, great drone, but you need to understand he paid twice as much for that Anafi as he did for the Zino. So it's a cost-benefit deal.
Right. I mean, it's so many people have a mentality out there like they're either going to get the Mavic 2 Pro or they're going to get the Zino. Well, that's not even like they're not even like the same conversation. That's like, are you going to buy a Honda Civic or a Lamborghini? I don't know how they get bunched as they're the same drone.
I did a comparison video where I went out onto the Snake River Gorge, and I flew the Mavic 2 and I flew the Zino, and I just put numbers on the videos for people to guess which was which. And those of us that fly those drones absolutely knew right off the bat. But people that didn't, I got a lot of guesses that were absolutely wrong. They thought the Zino was the Mavic and vice versa. And I'm not suggesting that the video of the Zino is as good as the Mavic. That is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that it is good enough that it confused some people.
Can I jump in just a second, gentlemen?
Watch the chat room. Get the chat room.
I wanted to jump in here and say I can see Raymond in the house and Art jump back in. And Ethan Mitchell just wanted to say thank you to everyone. He just passed 1,000 subs today. Congratulations, Ethan. We're glad to see that. Thomas O'Sullivan asked the question, how is the price in comparison with the DJI Spark?
So I can speak to that because I just bought a Spark. So let's just say, so I was able to catch a Spark. Ron put a link on at Banggood, had a Spark on sale for $235. So I bought that. Well, of course, that's no controller. I bought a controller for $95. I'm into it for $330 for the Spark. I paid $300 for this guy. Now, Banggood currently has this drone on sale with a coupon for $269. So I think you can say they're comparable. The Spark is a little bit more expensive. The regular price for the Spark with a controller is $399 on DJI's website. The Zino on Hubsan's website is $369.
Right. And if you walked into Best Buy today, you'd pay $399 for the Spark and the controller, one battery. Now, Marcus, did you see my video where I did a video comparison between the Spark and the Zino?
I did, and I liked that a lot, Ron. I think so. As you know, I just bought that Spark, so I'm gonna probably do that same thing.
Good.
But I think the way I'm going to compare it, I appreciated that you compared them both on 1080p, and in my mind, the Spark just blew it away. Video quality on 1080p, it was tremendous. DJI, clearly they know how to make a camera, but I think I'm going to compare them both at their top grade. So the best video I can get with the Spark and the best video I can get with the Zino, and I think they'll be a little bit more comparable there.
Good. Do you agree with me, Marcus, that it seems like the Zino, if you put it in 4K 30, the video is a lot sharper? Now, I mean, I know people are going to say it's more pixels better, but beyond that fact, it just looks better in 4K, even if you're looking at it on a 1080p monitor. It's
no
just sharper
about it. There's no question that they are definitely optimizing that camera on that thing for 4K 30 frames. The other thing that I think we need to mention, Ron, is that they vastly have improved that camera with software upgrades since it first came out. When it first came out, the video, it was quite frankly a disappointment. It was pretty fun.
Hold on, Marcus. Bill Thomas, he coined it, the soft focus issue. Yeah. Bill Thomas is the first one to discover the soft focus issue and give it a name.
It was from their production videos that they were releasing early. Ron and I were going back and forth talking about. We're like, yeah, because it just like had a center point focus, and it just lost everything on the outer edges the further you went out. Some stuff, Marcus, you might want to see this. Thomas O'Sullivan's bringing up the JJRC Heron X9. Does that tell you anything?
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, it's a popular drone. It has many clones too. It's a lot of people. I think True Drone Reviews has it also.
So it's kind of like a Spark clone.
Yeah, it's like a Spark clone. It's actually a C-Fly version of it. Bill, your favorite company.
It wasn't. Cookie was, or Cokie, whatever her name was. She ended up going to another company, and it was just that she was listening to us, and then her executives were just like, "No, this is how we, do things," and we just told them that we knew that drone was going to fail, and they just didn't want to listen. So, the Obtain. Of course, now they've come out with a few other drones because they've started listening to the people. So, who knows?
Right.
Are we going to stay on the Zino subject, or are we going to talk about something that Rise came out with today?
I like where you're going.
Okay, let's move on to Rise. Let's
Let's rise to the occasion, Bill.
Okay.
Hold on. Bill, before you get into it, did anybody predict this drone coming out from your sources, Bill?
Wait. Is Rick under an NDA?
Just a second, guys.
Let's ask our favorite guy over in the UK.
I need to do a Bill Thomas.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Okay, here. You know how we go. We go off on tangents while we're here sometimes. But the reason I did this was a long time ago. I had a friend who used to be on radio at the local country radio music station in my hometown. Okay. Well, I was hanging out with him, and you know how it kind of goes when you're doing that 24-hour a day, country music streaming and stuff. So we had a few alcoholic beverages. So he actually, while he was live on the air, of course, you couldn't see. He just kind of went over and went, and it just for a split second, and it went out live on the air. So, but we only knew, we were the only ones that knew. Like there would be some of our friends that knew we would be up there hanging out, and they'd be listening to the radio just to see if we would try to pull off little cool tricks here and there. But it was really cool.
Oh,
How much is it? Wait a minute. Oh, they're talking about a non-refurb something. I'm missing this.
Anafi.
Oh, wow.
Ethan Mitchell says a non-refurbed Anafi is going for $445 on Amazon.
yep. I told Marcus about it last night. I can, yeah.
New
Refurb Anafi, yeah.
for $445.
Yep.
Yep. Actually, yeah. I thought it was 444, but they
That's
both went
saying
up $1.
$550. He said somebody saying so a refurb is $445. How much is a refurb going? I didn't even know there were refurbs.
Refurb is $445 and new is $550.
Boy, I'd jump on one of those refurbs in a second if I didn't already have some.
What? Let's do it, Marcus. Let's do it and review it.
I would. I've got that.
I almost got it.
But the other thing, no, all kidding aside, I'm waiting to see that DJI announcement because trust me, I'll be sitting here at my keyboard ready to order whatever.
With a credit card in my teeth.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
With a credit card in my teeth.
That's a good. That's a good segue because I had everybody that watched my show last night. I had Rick Smith on, and I knew I was very leery of what Rick was going to be able to say because, he's normally, when he's coy, he's under an NDA and he can't really talk, but he said quite a bit. We talked a lot in hypotheticals last night, but he did say he does see a Spark 2 on the horizon. He doesn't think that the Phantom line is dead at all. He thinks that there will be something along those lines. He said, especially because, and he echoed on the point of, DJI has pumped a ton of money into the brand name image of Phantom because when you think of DJI, you have the iconic image, and there's Marcus holding his Phantom right there. You think of that iconic image. That's just what, and everybody thinks of the name DJI. So, Rick is very much thinking that there will be, an upgrade to the Spark and, that the Phantom line is going to be continuing.
Did you see what Brian said? Did you see what Brian said?
Brian, Phantom 6.
Phantom 5 was canceled.
Long live the Phantom.
That's right.
While we're at it, let's give Brian Singleton a shout out here. True Drone Reviews. When all the other big time reviewers poo-pooed the Anafi when it came out last summer, gave it middling reviews. Brian Singleton has said it's a great drone from the get go. He was right. I mean, it once it got its software updates, it became a much better drone. So kudos to Brian for being one of the few people to give it a good review.
Well, I went out last year when Rick Smith was in Tampa visiting, and we spent a good 3 hours flying drones, and he gave me a chance. I flew the Evo for a while, and I flew the Anafi, and I'll tell you what, the Anafi, the way that drone handled was insanely incredible. It is a fun drone to fly, and it is extremely responsive. Stops on a dime. I mean, I was very impressed. The controller, the app on it worked. I mean, now this was last year, but still the app worked flawlessly. I had no issues with it. It was super easy. And that 180 camera was fantastic. I mean, it just, you point it up to the sky, point it down. It was great. So two thumbs up on the Anafi for me.
The Anafi, Bill H, the gal that did all the drone work you had as a guest.
Oh, yeah. Oh God,
I can't think of her name.
Gail Orenstein. Yeah. She uses it, and she's overseas right now.
I just want to jump back in the chat real quick. I can see Lloyd Mendenhall came in. Wanted to say thanks, Lloyd, for coming in. If you all didn't get a chance to see him and Mel 400 AGL earlier stream, Mel's kind of got a new career that he's sharing with us during his live streams. So if you didn't get to watch him live earlier, please go back and watch the rebroadcast. I also saw, who else did I see pop in here? Or maybe somebody made a comment that I wanted to bring to attention. Anybody else see anything popping in there? I see where Brian and him were talking. Brian was talking about the Zino was actually better than the Spark earlier. I noticed that. Oh, and when is the new DJI announcement is so far hearsay, supposedly Tuesday, April 23rd. But like I said, we don't really know for sure. Also, that's it. Thank you, Mike, for throwing that up there. Birdman came in too. Didn't know if anybody noticed that, Ron. And also, David from Perth West RC down there in Aussie land. So please go out there and check out his stuff too. And let's see what else. Oh, something else came out today. Since we've got the Avengers Endgame movie coming out, did anybody else order theirs today? Because guess what? Crazy Bill did, and I just put the link into chat. Yes, the new Iron Man model of the Tello came out today.
Where's your music, Bill? You need to be playing.
Oh yeah, really. Ozzy in the background, right?
Hey, we should have played that tonight.
And under full disclosure, Bill H has the Iron Man Tello already, but he's under NDA and can't talk about it tonight.
Yeah,
it's actually right in that shelf behind him. It's off camera.
Yeah, I can't. You can't. Don't look back there. Okay, just don't look.
Yeah, we can't get Bill in trouble.
Curtain.
So, Bill Thomas.
Yes.
So, when you order that Tello, do you use your own affiliate link and then you get a discount, or did you use Bill H's so he'd get a little?
I just ordered it straight. I didn't even use my.
Hey, Marcus, I can answer that. You can't order. You can't use your own affiliate link.
So the thing to do is if I'm going to order something from DJI, I want to use one of you guys' affiliate links, right?
Right.
And we'll get all of about 65 cents.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
that.
Whatever it is whatever it is.
Yeah. I want to also say I see Hugh just jumped in from Asgard Studios, our Viking droner. So if you haven't already, please check out his channel, subscribe, and get into that. Okay, we got any more Zino stuff or other drone stuff?
Can I address one more thing with the Zino, Bill?
Okay.
So I just have one more comment, and it goes back to what you were saying earlier. One of the commenters, I can't remember who it was, which is better, the Spark or the Zino? You know what? No, neither one of them is better. They're apples and oranges to a degree. So they fill little different niches within the drone world, in my opinion. They're both awesome, and whichever one you buy, fly it and have fun.
And again, they are different price points because, as Marcus just pointed out earlier, no matter how you do it, you're going to be paying at least $350, $400 to get a Spark with a controller. But you can go right on now and Banggood and get a Zino for $269. So the Zino is still almost $100 cheaper, right, if you had to buy it tonight, new.
They call me a Zino. That's what I got.
Feeny.
Hey, Bill H., can I ask a question before we move on to some other subject? And I want to ask this because we want to talk about all drones. I got an all-tel question for you.
Go for it.
Okay. I think I posted on all our groups, Jevin Dovey, who's a professional filmmaker. He just reviewed the all-tel Evo just within the past week. And he mentioned the fact that it had, of course, the 4K 60, which everybody liked, but he said it had 10-bit color, just like the Mavic Pro. But when I posted it in the RC World, a commenter, I'm sorry, I forget who commented on it, but he said he thinks Jevin got that wrong. It doesn't have 10-bit color.
I don't think it does. I mean, I know because my number one source is Ken Dono, Original Dobo, because he knows the Evo backwards, forward, sideways, in every which way but loose. And I don't think it does. I really don't think it does.
Did you also say what Dennis' comment was? Because I told him earlier, he said he was on a video call with Wifey. So I told him to tell Wifey we all said hi. So he just responded back and said, okay, Wifey has had her fill of my talk. We can begin now.
Oh, and Dennis confirmed that, by the way, Ron. He said, I heard that too about 10-bit. I agree. He got it wrong. So,
okay. So, it just sounded, when I heard it, I just said, well, that thing's been a year and I never heard that before or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Dennis did the same thing. He said it's wrong too. Also, our friend from Drone Seekers was talking about, after watching the reviews and stuff, he agrees that Zeno's not a beginner drone. I think we've all figured that out. It's not, unless somebody is with you that knows how to fly already, then it's not something that you would give your 13-year-old kid and say, hey, go out and fly this. And they'll fly it into the dirt once or twice, and then they're going to think it's broken.
Or if it's somebody that happens to be an IT professional at, let's just say, a grocery store chain.
Yeah, well, a good hypothetical. Hey, listen, before we move on, I don't want to mispronounce the gentleman's name, but he's one of the drone seekers. Marcus, do you know how to pronounce his name?
Yeah, call him Kev. Hey, Kev, how you doing?
Hey, Kev, tell our friend
his name backwards. Okay, I get it now.
Well, tell our friend Sean. What's Sean's last name?
Matthews.
Tell Sean Matthews to get a spark. Get him off. Get him away from his spark. Tell him to fly a Zino over there in Spain, and we'll send him a Zino Nation T-shirt.
Not just that. Something. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. What were you gonna? Where were we going?
Now? Oh, look, Thomas. Someone's the one that told me about the Zino not having 10-bit. Thanks, Thomas. I'm so sorry. I forgot. I got so much on my mind here, but he's the one that let me know in RC World that Jevin probably made a mistake on a 10-bit. Thank you so much, Thomas.
I have a question that I don't know. Somebody DJI either here with us or in the chat might know. Our friend Stephen Heigl, he got a pair of the goggles, right? Okay.
DJI goggles?
Yes, but he can't bind them. Every time he tries to connect it and do it through the app and stuff, it won't let him do it. He'll type in the code and everything, but it won't go any further. And he's hung up there, and he doesn't know what to do. And he's asked me about it 2 or 3 times, and I had forgot to bring it up until just now. So if anybody knows anything about how the goggles are, connected, let me see if I could got his message here.
In the meantime, I want to give a shout out to Better with the Drones in the chat room. Better with the Drone is also a long-time Zino owner. He's had one since almost the very beginning, and he's done a lot of great reviews on the Zino. So everybody get over there and check out Better with the Drone channel.
Yeah, Better with the Drone. And, yeah, please. And if anybody you see in the chat that you're not already connected to, just like Roger says at the Canadian Drone Hub, please start your morning with morning coffee at the Canadian Drone Hub. You'll always see some crazy fun stuff going on in the mornings. Great grown talk. Yeah, grown-up talk, and coffee talk, and drone talk. So please go by and check out Canadian Drone Hub in the mornings. Anybody jump in whenever you want to.
I want to let you guys know I'm going to be on Val's place on April 28th. I believe it's probably going to be around 8 p.m. Eastern, and they were kind of preparing me for her. They said, you're going to be in for a real treat. I said, I am. They said, oh yeah. They said, be prepared. So I'm really looking forward to that. I gotta say this, guys. I enjoyed my time with them. I was on last Saturday morning. We talked a lot about DJI, and I ended up making a video about it. But those guys there, they are just incredible drone people. They speak the universal language of drone over there, and they're just good folk. And you just need to get hooked up with them if you get a chance to. During the day when they're on, jump on there, talk to them. Roger runs a great show, absolutely, positively. So just want to put my pitch in for Canadian Drone Hub there.
Bill H., before you jump away too quick, can you talk at all about your appearance on the Drone Owners Network last Saturday when you had when you got a tidbit of information? If you can't speak, if you're under NDA and don't want to speak about it, that's fine.
I am not under NDA. Actually, I was on the chat, and their guest, they had a special guest on. I guess it was Romeo Dersher, who I had on the show, DJI's director of public safety integration. And Curtis had asked, because I posted a question in the chat, and I said, is this the end of the Phantom line? And Curtis led into Romeo. He kind of gave him an out here, and he said, I'm not sure you're going to be able to answer this, but Bill the Drone Reviewer posted a question, is this the end of the Phantom line? And Romeo answered in the affirmative, but what was real interesting, the feed ended up pausing, and Curtis told me he said more. Curtis messaged me later. He said more during that part that we weren't aware of. And then I posted a video about that. Well, I was asked to take the video down from an unnamed source, and I did. I complied with that. But I think here's my take on all this. What I think is, what Romeo probably meant to say, it's probably the end of the Phantom 4 line. Okay. Not, and that's obvious because the RTK is done. That's it. But that's one plausible theory. The other plausible theory is he misspoke. So I mean, that's those are the two theories. It's probably more towards the misspoke part. That's what I think.
But Bill Thomas has something to say.
I want to give my eighth of a cent on this.
Go for it.
I honestly think that he let something out of the bag that he shouldn't have. And I really think that we're going to see something along that. I think the Enterprise line is going to be where all that evolves into. And we're going to have like an Enterprise Mavic, the Mavic Enterprise, and we're going to have a Phantom Enterprise. And that's where that's going to go to. It's going to be more of because we all know it's a big platform. It's a big drone. It takes a little time to get in the air. So, and it's actually going to be more beneficial in the Enterprise arena, used for, first responders and stuff like
mapping.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be much more useful. So they're going to push it into, I mean, you're still going to be able to use it to take pictures and stuff, but the Phantom's going to move into that Enterprise arena, and you may very well have your interchangeable lenses there. Like another video that we heard not too long ago that had to be taken down because it was requested. And it's just, I think it's just because people are starting to guess right. There's not so many rumors coming out, but people are using logic to say, okay, that's just like when people are making fun of me when I'm talking about the Spark. And there's going to be a Spark 2. And Rick even brought up the point about it being a cross or a mutation between the Tello and the Spark, which would put it sub 250 grams. Sub 250, so that we could actually fly it in a lot of places.
Oh,
that's my theory on that genre.
We should add though that even if you're under 250 grams, you still have to comply with all FCC or FAA regulations with regard.
Good point, Marcus.
Yeah,
you just don't have to register it.
Exactly.
That's the only thing you can ignore, the registration process.
Yeah.
So,
and I think one of the things we talked about last night on the show with Rick, and I kind of wanted to bring this up, and I think we talked about it a little bit here earlier too, is, if there's a drone that you want right now, don't wait for something that may or may not come out. Go out and get that drone now. I know, I've talked to Ken Dono, Original Dobo, about that. I know, Rick Smith, he's a very strong advocate of that. And I think, Bill and Ron, I know we've all talked about that. It's like, don't wait, go out there and get it and enjoy it. And that's why I ended up going out and getting the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, because, not knowing whether or not, they're going to have any. And I, like I said, I got a killer deal on it, and I'm absolutely enjoying it. And, as a shameless plug, I'm going to be coming out. There's going to be some Mavic 2 and Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 comparison videos coming out. So stay tuned.
There you go. I wanted to give another quick chat shout out. I can see Manic Magic came in. I can see that one of our people that was in the chat earlier apparently has split personalities, because I'm pretty sure Grumpy Gripes is somebody we already know.
Yes, it's Lloyd.
And I also see Drone Effects with Claude came in. He's been connected with a little girl from England and her mama doing some YouTube stuff. So if y'all get a chance, go check out Claude's channel. He's been doing some streams and stuff with them. As always, please go check out 400 AGL and Lloyd when they're doing their shows and stuff. And like anybody that puts up drone stuff, let's just try to stay positive. And I know there's a million shows out here and everybody's trying to jump back and forth and trying to keep up with everybody and be happy. But just, hey, if you don't get a chance to watch this live, I'd be happy to see it on a replay. That's fine too. All of that's good.
Hey, can I ask what Bill H was saying? So if I had to choose, if somebody said, hey, Marcus, you want this one or you want this one? I paid $510 for this Phantom 4 on eBay. It had been flown about twice. And I paid $300 for this. Trust me, this Phantom is the one that would be still sitting on my shelf.
Right.
Because of its capabilities, not knocking the Zino, but man, the capabilities here to $500 for a Phantom 4. I mean, holy cow! And they're out there. So, what Bill was saying.
Marcus and I, we've had a conversation about this the other night. The Zino's kind of like, right now, Marcus has a perfectly Corvette, probably runs perfectly, never needs any work or whatever. But when you were a teenager, you bought an old sports car or whatever, something like that, and you had to do something to it every week. That's what the Zino is. It's almost like something your first car as a teenager. It required a little tender, loving care, but in a way, it was more fun because it needed attention. Where you have like a modern car, like Marcus's brand new Corvette. It doesn't really need attention. It just turns on every time he touches, gets oil changed every once in a while, But this is actually fun. It keeps you busy in the way a Phantom doesn't. Phantom just turns on, flies perfectly every time.
Perfect analogy. Perfect analogy.
So, and Bill H with his Phantom, Pro V2, just because even if Phantom 5 would come out tomorrow, it wouldn't make his V2 fly any less good. It wouldn't make his V2 take any less video. Like, let's be honest, if a Phantom 5 came out tomorrow and did 8K video, what does that really mean to anybody? I could care less whether because I'd have to buy a whole new computer. I'd have to buy everything just to process that 8K video. So I mean, if it. Yeah, again, I really don't, at this point, a lot of people don't care. Like J-Drone told me, shameless plug for J-Drone, he told me he doesn't care anything about 4K video because he doesn't do anything past 1080p. And half the people subscribe to my channel don't care about 4K at all. They only do 1080p because their computers aren't new and they can't do 4K. Again, and if the DJI comes out with an 8K drone, only the people have to have everything or whatever are even going to care about an 8K drone or whatever.
That's me.
Yeah, well, I mean the 4K video we're getting out of 1-inch sensor drones is probably going to be good for the rest of the natural life of the Bucketlist Boys here or whatever. It's going to be 10, 15 years out before we're in an 8K world. Number one, because our internet's not fast enough to broadcast it because, we make slow progress in our internet speed here in the U.S. for whatever reason. And that's the main point. But again, 8K video is so far into the future that it's no concern getting on a next generation drones. I don't know how it got, but what I said, they're going to put some advancement on a Phantom 5 that the general user will never even use. So yeah, here's what a friend of mine, Jeff Bargill, says. He's in my RC World group. He says, fly what you got.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Fly what you got.
The thing about what Jay was saying, and I totally understand that, but Jay does mainly review videos. So he has no reason to shoot 4K video. Most of the stuff he shoots or he reviews are toy grade and below. So they don't even have the capabilities of shooting 4K. Granted, he might have an action camera here and there that shoots 4K, but yeah, he's right. Because he's selling product. He doesn't need to shoot 4K. He just needs to get you to look at the product and click the link. But somebody like Billy or somebody like Ken, especially like Ken, because Ken's in the field where, he's doing, real estate and stuff like that. So he needs good clarity. He needs good color depth. He needs good depth of field. So he's going to need that exit. Plus, if he's got 4K video and he compresses it down to 1080, then he's going to get a lot more to play with as far as the raw footage and stuff is concerned.
Yeah,
he can manipulate later in post.
We call it headroom to add it in the video. These are all great.
What I'm just saying,
these are all great points,
I see Jay's point. It makes perfect sense because of the genre that he's in. But there's also a purpose and an area for 4K and above for just what I was talking about.
Right. Perfect points. And it future-proofs you, too. Like, 10 years from now, your 4K will still look good where your 1080 won't. So it does future-proof you a little bit.
Well,
I understand what he's saying. It makes sense. I'm sorry, Bill. Go ahead.
No. Rick last night on the show, he kind of echoed that. He says, we have such a great breadth of technology right now. I'll talk about the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, for example. It now has a new OcuSync on it instead of Lightbridge. The sensors that it has on it, the mechanical shutter. You know, it's still cutting, like Rick was saying last night, it's still cutting edge. He says, I don't care what they come out with right now. You know, if you have that, you know, he was using that for an example, that's still cutting edge. If you have a Mavic 2, you know, whether it's a Pro or a Zoom, you know, that's cutting edge. It's really, you know, it's not, you know, how much more can they raise the bar here, you know, as far as technology is concerned, you know. And he brought out, I mean, that's a great point. I mean, it really is. So, you know, that's one of the things, you know, if you want to wait, but if you can buy something now, you know, I buy it now.
I gotta say, there's one thing in the chat that's hilarious, man. I'm sorry, but okay. So Lloyd jumps in. He says, "I'm a vlogger." LOL. A couple lines later, Dennis goes, "I'm an American." A couple lines later, Brian goes, "Dennis Lovelady." That's good to know.
Hey guys, can I put in a shameless plug for the Drone Seekers?
Sure can.
Go for it.
Exactly. Yeah. So the Drone Seekers, you know, as we all get into this hobby, one of the things you do when you're trying to figure out what you're doing is you get on YouTube and you look around and you look for how-to videos and so forth. And that kind of led me to Sean Matthews over at the Drone Seekers. And that's what I see you guys doing and what I try and do. And I think it's just a great thing for people. But if you get a chance, check out the Drone Seekers. Sean Matthews does a show every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Spanish time, which is 3 p.m. Mountain time where I'm at. So you can figure that out. But it's a really fun international group of people. And then the other plug that I want to make is for the Bucketlist Boys is, man, get Sean Matthews on your show. I'm telling you, it'd be in the middle of the night for him, but I'm telling you, you'd bring a lot of people in on the audience.
We're in negotiations for that right now because he and we've been. If I knew how to contact him directly, like on Facebook or something, I would. But right now, we've been talking back and forth just through comments on YouTube. So.
And a little side note here, on our Christmas show, we had Eagle VP Keith on, and Keith's daughter is married to Chris, who is the head of the Drone Seekers, the Yorkshire chapter, I believe. I forget what his channel's name is. I don't forget. I can't get in my head right now, but it is a very popular channel too. So I mean, it's somebody. Right. He's Eagle VP's like son-in-law or whatever.
I did not know that.
And he runs the big Yorkshire chapter of the Drone Seekers. It's a whole bunch of them making videos too. So,
well,
but yeah,
man,
they're all great guys.
Didn't you all have kind of an announcement that you and Marcus wanted to make? Because I noticed that we're starting to get towards the end of our hour-long time here, and I know you all wanted to bring that up, Ron.
Thanks for that lead-in, Bill. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, Marcus and I have been in production for many weeks now on a brand new YouTube show. And guess what this new YouTube show is going to revolve around? Marcus, cue the prop here. Drum roll, please. The Hubsan Zino. We're gonna have our own show. And guess what the title is? Zino Nation.
It's going to be on, Ron Brown.
It's going to be on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's 7 p.m. Marcus's time, right?
Mountain and 6 Pacific. Gotcha.
There we go. And 9 for Bill in Florida if he's still awake.
Well, I will be.
Well, that's very cool. So we're getting all kinds of spin-off shows going on here, man.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention this is part of the coast to coast. I can't say network. Syndicate of shows.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know what we'll call it.
I can't use the word. I can't use the N word. Syndicate of shows, or
we could be the Horseman Media Group. Ooh. We're coming. It's the apocalypse. No, just kidding.
So, anyways, everybody's welcome to visit the show. Marcus and I will be putting some links up on our Facebook pages and in our various groups to the show. I mean, we'll probably eventually have guests. We're going to keep it shorter first. Probably try to go a half hour, update you on all the latest Hubsan firmwares or whatever. Maybe try to do a little Q&A if we actually get any guests in, maybe answer a few, questions about how to update or this or that, whatever. A little more technical than this show is. So again, please stop by. If you don't have a Zino, just stop by, say hello. We're serving coffee and donuts. Marcus, you have anything to add on that?
Well, yeah. So the Zino has particularly now that they've refined it a little bit, it's kind of captured a lot of people's imagination. So there's a lot of interest in it, and if we can help somebody figure some things out, boy, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely. And Marcus and I, too, we spoke of our friends in the Drone Seekers, who most of them are European. We'll come up with firm plans down the road, but we're going to do an afternoon show at some point so we can get all our European friends in the Drone Seekers. They don't have to stay up until 3 in the morning. We'd love to have Sean Matthews. If you're out there, we'd love to have Sean Matthews on as our first guest on our afternoon show. Wouldn't that be great, Marcus?
That would be fantastic.
Hey, got a question for you guys. What channel are you guys hosting this on? Is it going to be on Ron's or on Marcus's?
Well, we're going to ask your advice on this. This is called Ask the Bill segment of the show. Do you think we should create a whole new YouTube channel called Zino Nation, or we should host it on one of our channels?
I think you should create a new channel because it's both of you. That way, you both have access to it. That's my.
We knew you'd be the man to go to, and
then what else I would do, and this is just me, because right now this is a shameless plug for my new series. I just did part 2 of how to start a YouTube channel. Shameless plug here for that. But my strong and it's coming in part 3. I talk about building a foundation, and one of those foundations is getting a Facebook group and Facebook page out there. And if you guys get going, I would strongly recommend, even before you get going, get it out there. Whatever you guys want to call it. If you want to call it the same, I try to call it the same name as the channel. That way it's kind of like all this brand recognition stuff. So definitely. And you'll get people to join. You put it out on Bill's channel, on my channel, on your own channels, people will join. There won't be any problem. So definitely I'd recommend that. And if it really starts kicking even better, create a Twitter account, because people really engage on Twitter an awful lot about drones. So I'd cover all bases with that.
And we'll start a what do you call a G Plus page up too?
Google Plus.
Yeah, we'll start a Google Plus site up too.
RIP.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, Bill, thanks for those tips. We will take notes on your videos. I saw the first one. I saw you posted the second of the series, and we're gonna study off that sheet. And if we have any advice, will you consult with us? We may not be able to pay your fees at first, but we'll.
Ron, you come down here to Tampa. You can take me to Chick-fil-A. That'll take care of it.
Okay, I'll get you anything you want off the menu. And I'll throw in a shake.
Wow.
Who has better shakes than Chick-fil-A?
Not many. Not many at all.
Are you all seeing what Dennis is talking about? He's talking about the crystal sky, and he's talking about he's got the 5.5 inch. And I don't understand what we're talking about. DJ has forgotten about it. We're talking about firmware, Dennis. I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. Also, I saw Drone Shots came in, wanted to say hi. Thank you for coming in. Something that Rick brought up, and I have said this before. I think I'm going to go ahead and talk to the guys. We have 30 people in the chat right now, and I'm going to say we've triggered our first drone table for a serious question. Rick brought up a situation where you see a YouTube video and the YouTuber is doing something that is illegal. Now, should you call them out? Should you report them? Or should you just let it go? So that's what I want to. That's what us for these last few minutes. I'd like us. Nobody get mad. Everybody have their point of view. So what do you all think?
I believe in just like the Disney movie, Let It Go. Unless it's something really egregious, somebody flying over an airport or something. Somebody's doing a long distance flight or something, and they're out of line of sight. I wouldn't say anything. If they're putting somebody in real danger, that's different.
You know, and I have a tendency to agree with Marcus. I know there was a I was admin on the Facebook group for the gentleman that lived down in Miami, and I don't know if you saw that, where he did the he was the one that did the follow me with the car, and he was driving the car and controlling the Mavic at the same time and everything.
Right.
That's when I bowed out of his group after that, because that was just wrong. You know, in those kind of instances, yeah, you know, it's report. Well, there were too many, you know, everybody did that. But, you know, like Marcus said, you know, if it's an egregious thing like that, yeah. If it's not, you know, I get this all the time, and this is a good point, Bill. I get this all the time because I have several Facebook groups and adminning them, and, you know, I get a lot of, well, you know, I won't call them, you know, people are trying to say, well, that's not right. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that, you know. But I set up some rules for my groups right away. And, you know, for like my Spark group, which is now at around 2,500, you know, and one of them is, you know, it's like, you know, don't post an flying out of line site on there. You know, I made that in my rules. And I also said, don't fly above 400 feet AGL, because, you know, true AGL, you know, and if you do, you know, those videos and those pictures and everything are going to get taken down. You know, that's your first warning. Your second warning is you're gone from the group, because, you know what, I don't want to have any, and that's not an item that's open for discussion in my groups. You know, I've set these rules, and everybody says, oh, you know, you're judge, jury, and executioner. I said, no, I've set the rules. Okay. And if you want the rules, that's fine. I had a lot of people leave that Spark group because of that. And I said, fine, I don't care, because the people that are on there right now, it's a well-run group, you know, and I know Bill's an admin on, I think Ron's probably an admin. I got Steve Carpenter on there. You know, these groups are well policed, and, you know, a well-policed group, it's gonna people kind of self-police themselves anyway, but the rules are, you know, and that's those rules are on every one of my groups. So I agree with Marcus on that.
I tend to think in the way that, you know, if I see somebody in a video, you know, flying out of line of sight or something like that, it's, for me, the reporter would be like if I went out and stood at the busy intersection near my house and took video of everybody that went through a red light or went 30 and a 25 or whatever. It's just not something I do. You know, it's not my job to go out and, you know, and police a busy road or whatever because somebody's doing a moving vehicle violation. It'd be the same thing like me trying to turn somebody in because they went beyond line of sight with their drone. It's kind of like it's like a traffic violation. I don't go out by the road and try to, you know, catch people doing traffic violations. I'm not a policeman. I'm not a ticket writer or whatever. If I was hired to be the drone police.
Y'all want to hear something? There's been, I've seen everybody in the chat that's talking along with us, and I've seen one relatively honest statement, and that's coming from Drone Shots. Yeah, but sometimes it's like being a kid. You just have to do it. And I guarantee you, and I'm guilty of it too, I've taken a risk or two that I shouldn't have. And I know that I shouldn't have done it. And it's on very, very extremely rare occasions. But I'm about 90% positive everybody here has probably done something that they knew they shouldn't have with a drone.
On purpose or not on purpose?
I'm talking about to have fun, just to see if it would do it. Well, I'm not going to do it. I've done it.
I have to confess, I did a range test with the little Zino. I took it out a kilometer, and it went right to what their advertised distance is a kilometer, and it went like 980 meters or something. Yeah, it was. I kind of saw it. You know, I could kind of see it. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but let me ask this, Marcus. You own a nice Corvette there. What's the speed limit in Utah?
Well,
I mean, in Idaho.
I don't know what it is. Though, so we have 80 miles an hour on the freeway.
Okay, has that Corvette ever gone above 80 miles per hour on the speedometer?
Last weekend at the drag strip, I did 115 racing.
Okay, on a public road, has that Corvette ever gone over the posted legal speed limit?
Okay, quick story. My wife was driving, and she doesn't like to go fast, but she was passing another car. We were on a 2-lane road, and I said, don't fool around, get around him. And so she doesn't. The engine makes noise; it makes her nervous. So she just hit it a little bit. Well, that Corvette goes pretty quick, so she gets around the guy, and I'm looking over in the passenger side. I said, "Honey, look at the speedometer." Yeah, she was doing 110.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what is the difference between doing 110 or anything above the speed limit in your car and taking the drone over line of sight or whatever? It's all just violations of whatever of a law. There's no difference between a 110 Nevette and going out of line of sight of the drone in my mind.
So there's the difference that the analogy that you can make is doing 110 through a neighborhood or out on the open highway. If you're in your drone and I'm out, we have a lot of desert out here that there's nobody, nothing but sagebrush. If I went out of line of sight out in that sagebrush, really, honestly, I don't see
that's a very good point, Mark. It's like Bill, we all know Billy Kyle. Like when he lost his drone, when he flew it out over the ocean. I mean, it didn't hurt anything. His range test. Well, Paul, drone bum too. His range test out to that ship. I mean, unfortunately he lost his drone like Billy did, but it wasn't a dangerous range test to anybody unless you were a fish or something. So, I mean, I get Mark, you make a good point now, Marcus. So, Bill, back to the chat room. Any more good, juicy comments from them on your drone table?
Oh, no. People are trying to say that we should do it. But basically what I'm getting is we need to use proper etiquette. And I'm trying to think, now, don't get me wrong. We're all a fun bunch, but sometimes we're kind of hard-headed. So I'm trying to figure out the proper etiquette to tell somebody you think they flew their drone wrong. I get it.
What Bill H has to say about flying out of line of sight or anything.
Well, that's a good point because, as far as that's concerned, yeah, I've done that before, but, and then, that was with the Mavic Pro. And I kind of learned my lesson with that. I mean, I thought, because I wanted to do the test. And what I was testing to do was, we have a bridge down here, Marcus, just to let you guys know. And I think Ron probably knows about it. It's the Sunshine Skyway Bridge.
I think I've been over it before.
Yeah. And back in 89, one of a ship hit it, and it used to be a side-by-side bridge. And at least I think maybe 20 or so people lost their lives. It was a horrible accident. So they ended up just building one bridge and replacing it. But it's kind of an icon around here, and it's very high up in the air, probably 150, 200 feet. And to get a shot of that, you have to do it either from one of the piers, which is really hard of the old bridge, or you have to do it from like a rest area with a park, and it's pretty far out. And I was trying to do a range test to do that, and that's why I did that with the Mavic Pro. But yeah, it's like as far as that's concerned, I learned my lesson with that. It's like for now, how I do my range tests, and people kind of like will laugh at me. Well, that's not really a range test. Well, yeah, it kind of is. And what I did was I went out like about my limit for my line of vision is probably about 1,500 feet, maybe 1,700, not quite 2,000. I would fly out, come back, fly out, come back, fly out, come back. And I kept that pattern up to see until the battery got to like 25 or 30, 25% and flew it back. So, I did have a range test there. I mean, it wasn't a straight line range test, but, it was going back and forth. So, I did it within the rules as far as that's concerned. Now, a lot of people will talk about night flying, and and I know one of the things regarding that is you have to have strobe lights on at night if you're flying at night, whether you're 107 or a hobbyist, it doesn't matter. You have to have strobe lights on, and your aircraft needs to be visible for 3 miles, and that's a non-negotiable. That has to be. You have to have that on there. So and I know there are a lot of people that post a lot of night videos out there, but this is what the FAA says. You have to have that on there on your aircraft.
Bill, can I interrupt for a second? I forgot. Birdman 316 RC is in the chat room, and he made the greatest long range flight test of all time. His video is probably still posted. I don't know, Mike. Do you want me to talk about this at all? He made the most incredible, long range flight of all time with a Bugs 2C.
Post the link, Mike, if you want to.
Or Mike, can I talk about this? Or you want me not to? I mean, the video is public, so it's not like I'm talking about something nobody knows about. It's on his channel. Mike said, sure. But Mike got the Bugs 2C when it first came out, I think 2 summers ago. And he has a water tower in his town. And he flew it to the water tower. Now, the Bugs 2C doesn't have any FPV system on it. And Mike, he had no camera on it. He flew to the water tower. I mean, I don't know what point he lost line of sight, but he went all the way to the water tower. And I don't even know how he knew he was there. And then he hit return to home. And it came back to him safely and landed with no issues. But yeah, he went said beyond line of sight with no FPV camera. They said it's the greatest beyond line of sight flight of all time.
Super cool, super cool.
Drop that link, Mike, in the chat. It's still an exciting video. And I didn't bring this up last week, but remember when Bill Thomas did the Master Air Screw review and he talked about it last week? Okay, Birdman Cruz is also a big Master Screw air fan too. You know what happened to him a couple years ago? He had a Banging Toys X16. He's the only person I've ever seen fly a drone, and a prop exploded on him in midair. Not Master Air Screw, the stock prop. It just blew apart midair on him. So then he got Master Air Screws after that. But again, prop just blew apart under normal flying conditions. He was in line of sight. It wasn't a particularly bad weather day. There was no conditions that would have caused this. Just boom. So I've never seen a prop blow up except for his video. Drop that link too, Mike. It's kind of a funny video in retrospect. Of course, it wasn't funny when he was.
I'm glad you
coming
brought
down
that
out of the air.
I'm glad you brought that up because I sent them a link to that video that I made, and I said everything was great and I loved them, and told them that I had put in the part about the gain where you got to change the gain where people were having all the errors, and then Brian tested it out with his and showed that when you change the gain to 80, everything flies fantastic. And then all at once I get this email that says I've got some mystery package on the way, and I don't know from them. So, and I don't know what it is.
Oh,
Phantom 5.
It's part 2, Bill, with Master Air Screws.
It's silent props for the Hubsan Zino.
Oh, and I hope you get the smart controller for the Zino also.
I'm glad you said that again too, Ron. Okay, Ron is in a dilemma. I have 2 things to cover. First, I'm going to cover this before I go to Ron's dilemma.
Okay,
we have a buddy that's kind of regularly in coast to coast drones. He's kind of in a creative fog right now. So in the meantime, he has come up. He wants to sell his Phantom 4 Pro. He's asking $850 for it. I know there's some out there cheaper, but if anybody's interested, if you're listening to this, please holler back and forth because Nemo is in Coast to Coast Drones. If you're not already a member, please go to Facebook and look up Coast to Coast Drones and join up. You can pretty much be linked out to all our affiliate groups, Bill the Drone Reviewer, the Mavic 2 group, Ron RC World. We're all kind of linked through there. So you can check through any of those channels or any of those groups and pretty much be tied into all of us. And now you all have heard me cry and moan and whatever about DJI Select. Ron Brown is considering buying the Mavic 2 Pro. So he's curious, should he just go Pro all the way and get the smart controller combo kit? Or should he just buy the basic kit and wait on the smart controller and maybe get Crystal Sky? So we need your input and help. Ron, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking with Dennis on next week, since Dennis is a Crystal Sky owner, we could talk Crystal Sky for a while. Maybe we could even fix his Crystal Sky update issues also while he's on. So, yeah.
They're saying, which one should Ron get? Should he go for the basic with the regular controller, or should he go full bore and get the one with the smart controller?
And should I get the Fly More package with it?
Yeah, I've always
Fly More
package. I should have done it in the first place, but I was trying to save a little money. But where I'm kind of pinned in and I can't fly quite as much as I'd like to, it's kind of a good fit for me right now.
Well, I mean, when I got the Mavic Pro 1, I just bought the batteries myself because I didn't think I wanted to pay all that money for the case. And, you know, I don't know. What else is it? I get 2 batteries, a case. Do I get like a multi-charger with it?
You get a car charger and also a charging hub.
Okay, the car charger. I bought a car charger for the Phantom and never ever used it, whatever. But the hub would come in handy.
Quick shout out! Thank you very much, Kevin, for staying with us so late over there in the UK.
Oh,
we're very grateful that you stayed with us this long. He said it was
thank you, Kevin.
8 a.m. and he stayed with us the whole time. Thank you so much.
Real quick, I gotta give Kevin a promo. If you want a Drone Seekers T-shirt, see Kevin. He's got great links for him.
He does. Hey, Ron.
So, go ahead, Marcus.
Your before you buy that, I don't know if you already have DJI Select, but you should get it before you buy that drone, because you can get DJI Refresh there then for about half price.
And how much is DJI Refresh?
I can't remember. I bought mine, but
the drone. And I know, Marcus, yeah, that's a good thing. I know for the Phantom, because I got it offered for me because it's up for renewal. I think it's like $100. It's over $100, and I think it's right around $90-ish, Ron, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what I paid. But I got it for half off because I had the DJI Select when I bought it.
Now, Bill, quick question, Bill. If I was to purchase the Phantom 2 Pro at a Best Buy store, could I still get the DJI Refresh through DJI?
Yes, you can.
Okay,
you can do that. That's never a problem. Yeah, I don't know if the Select will work or not. I think you have to purchase everything through DJI to do that. But the other thing is, if you wanted to get the smart controller, the best way to do that is to go through DJI because you get that discount. You wouldn't get I don't think Best Buy has that kind of package available. I don't know, but I
don't believe they do either. I don't think it can be purchased there.
That would be my advice, because I know I've talked to so many people. You know, and I talked to Ken Dono about it, and he's using the daylights out of it, and he loves it. It's just easy to use. It's easy to pull out. It's easy. I mean, you turn on your drone, you turn on the smart controller, you're ready to go. You don't have to hook up your iPad to it or get your Mav mount on it or any of that. It's ready to go. I mean, as soon as I have my cash flow improves, that's going to be my next purchase, is getting the smart controller, because I know, it's going to work eventually. They said, and I talked about this with Rick. It's going to work with a Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 because it said DJI made it so it'll work with anything with the OcuSync 2.0 and above. So it's going to fast forward any drone that has that. It's going to be compatible with it.
These are all good points, and Ken's using it as from a professional tool, so time's money to him. Yeah. But a lot of my shoots, I'm out there. I get all day to shoot. It doesn't take. I don't care if it takes 1 minute to get all set up for 5 minutes or whatever. I'm usually not in a big hurry that I need to be up and running in a minute.
Okay, well,
but the quality on the smart controller is great. I mean, that video quality, I think, from what I've seen and experienced, yeah, that's just, and that's why I'm sold on it. I mean, is
it better than Crystal Sky or equally?
As far as the Crystal Sky is concerned, okay, one of the things that I know about the Crystal Sky, they have been waiting forever for firmware updates. I'm friends with if you guys know Harry Barbosa at all. I see he's on Twitter a lot, and he has been pounding DJI left and right support, asking about firmware updates for the Crystal Sky, and they still haven't come out with them yet. And I think that's a thing that's holding a lot of people up from buying them right now, and kind of leaning people towards the smart controller, is that they haven't done these updates for the Crystal Sky. I mean, you go out there right now, there's a lot of them used ones for sale.
Well, let me ask you this tough question, Bill. Do you think the Crystal Sky is an end-of-life product now that the smart controller is here?
No, I don't. I don't think it's end of life, but I think they need to do some serious refining to it, because it's kind of bulky. I mean, the battery attaches onto the back of it, and it's kind of cumbersome. And I know a lot of people, physically it weighs a lot, and I think that's a key. Now, one of the other things I'll interject too is my Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Okay, the nits on it are brighter than what the not only smart controller but also the Crystal Sky. So I mean, I've used this before out in the sun, and it's incredible what you can get from this. So that's my 2 cents worth.
I want to roll this back to Marcus for a minute. Did you see Kolsky Drones, his latest video where he compares the Zino to the FIMI A3?
Yes, and the Zino, in my mind, blew it away, particularly with video quality.
Right. Well, here's where I'm going. How about Kolsky saying that this, everybody wants to get the A3 because it has the built-in screen on the controller. But did you see Kolsky say the screen wasn't any good?
They said it was garbage. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the opposite of the DJI Smart Controller. The screen on is worse than your phone.
But in defense of FIMI on that drone, that whole package is like $275. So yeah.
Right. So you can get a whole drone for less than a Smart Controller.
For somebody, that's a good point. For somebody's first GPS drone, hey, that FIMI A2 or whatever it's called would probably not be a bad deal.
I think it flies a little bit better than the Zino.
I think you're right. Yep, I would agree with that too.
That's what Kolsky said.
Yeah.
So back to Bill Thomas. He's monitoring that chat room there.
Well, no, I was going to say something like 5 minutes ago, but y'all kept on going, so I just waited.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the hand signal.
Oh no, I was waving my hand and everything, but Bill was on a roll, so I just waited. But I was going to tell you that if I was you, like when he was talking about earlier, if you're going to buy the drone, I would go ahead and get Select first, even before you went to Best Buy.
Okay.
And then go to Best Buy, purchase a drone, use your coupon for the refresh, and then use the accessory coupon to buy your Fly More combo so that you get credits with DJI, plus you get the discount.
Okay.
So, and I would, if I was you, I'd go ahead and get the smart controller. I would.
And I saw somebody selling a brand new Flymore kit for the Mavic 2 Pro on eBay for like $335.
I think it's about what you get it with the discount coupon.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you meant the whole package. You threw me there. I thought you were referring to
just the Flymore.
Flymore kit. I'll say kit rather than package. Yeah, that guy would have a lot of sales if he sold the whole package for $335. We'd be lining up to get it, huh?
It reminds me of some of those Facebook ads you see,
My wife and I have a little a business of her own, and she accidentally marked a pair of Adidas's down to $6, and it sold with only I think it was eBay, and it sold within seconds of her making a mistake of putting it for $6.
So it would be if you go through, I think Select is like 20% off. So it would be sub $300 if you ordered it from them.
Oh, nice. No, these are very good tips for anybody in the chat room who's also thinking about upgrading to the Mavic 2 Pro from the Mavic 1 Classic.
Smart controller to be discounted because, some way, some form, because we bought the Mavic before we didn't get the option of buying the smart controller combo.
Right. Now, is
leaving us hanging.
Is a smart controller an accessory yet, or is that still ongoing?
It's not an accessory.
Not an accessory.
Not a consumer accessory yet. Put it that way.
Oh, okay. It's a it's a prosumer accessory,
even though it's listed in the consumer area.
Right. Well, we'll have to get somebody on from DJI to explain that to us sometime.
Yeah, we're getting quite a few people are dropping off right now.
We are getting late here. It's going on 10 o'clock. I guess we should.
It's perfectly fine with me. We rolled on by, and I was just gonna, I was gonna give a list of who all we had on for the rest of the month and close out whenever you all were ready. What do y'all think?
Bill H, what you want to wrap up now and call it a night?
I kind of gotta get going. So I got a 5:30 a.m. Wake up call tomorrow morning. So
oh wow, well thank you very much. That's perfectly cool. Glad to have you. You can go ahead. Like I said, it's something I wanted to bring up, and I had discussed it with Ron, and I wanted to give another shout out while we were here. Is to the Drone Owners Network. I've been kind of talking with Curtis back and forth here. Curtis Dart, he's kind of their one of their lead guys over there. He's on every week on Saturday. So if you haven't already, please check out the Drone Owners Network. But he and I have been talking back and forth about maybe doing a late night show or something kind of special, but we never really could get all the details worked out. And that might still be in the works somewhere in the future. So in discussions with Ron Brown, we thought that I might come up with something called like Coast to Coast Drones After Dark, where we might just kind of go in later, or we might do stuff on weekends where we could get some international involvement and stuff like that. So I wanted to bring that up real quick. And with that being said, I'm very grateful for everybody that was with us in the chat tonight. Everybody that was here, I want to tell you this. I'm going to make another Bobo t-shirt. Well, not Bobo. It's pretty cool, I think. It's going to say, I sat at the drone table. And the only way it's going to be available is if you tell me the keyword, and we're going to say the keyword is Arthur. And when you tell me that, then I'll give you the link that you can order the t-shirt. Or somehow we'll figure something out that just remember Arthur if you're interested in the t-shirt. And I'll kind of do like Roger and make it as cheap as I can possibly get so that anybody that wants it can get a hold of it. And with that being said, I'm going to pass it to Bill, the drone reviewer, for his good night.
Bill, thank you so much. This was a great evening. It was great having Marcus on. Absolutely loved it. May see about if I could pry you away from Ron for an evening. I might have you on my show. I'd love to have that and get some people to hear about the Zino. I think that would be great. Maybe even have Ron on too. I think that would be cool. And it would be good props for your channel. I think that would help you guys out. Great show tonight. Absolutely great. Bill's got some great things coming up with these late shows. That's great. Maybe some weekend stuff. That's always good too. Lots of things going on right now. And again, I want to thank everybody that participated in the chat tonight and was there. We had a great chat. A lot of good conversations here. And and I think one of the things, and I know Bill preaches this, and I kind of preach this as well too. And they do a Canadian Drone Hub. You know what? We all speak the universal language of drones. And I know Marcus with Drone Seekers, them too. And I've commented on a lot of I try to get out there and comment on a lot of their videos. That's one thing. We're stronger united than we are divided. And let's enjoy this wonderful hobby / profession, for lack of a better term. Drones are a lot of fun, and Bill has it right. This is drone therapy, and it's refreshing to be able to get out there. So my message that I leave everybody with is, enjoy your drones, have fun. And you see somebody else, join them, and be involved with them, and be involved with other channels as well too, and help them out and support them. And with that, I'll pass this on to Mr. Zino Nation himself, Ron Brown.
Thank you so much for that great introduction, Bill. Before I do anything else, I want to give a shout out to Perth West OZRC. He was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still there or not. He injured his back recently, so everybody send a few prayers out to Dave Grama for a quick recovery from his back injury. And again, I want to thank Bill Thomas for creating this great show and having us on, and Bill H for being a great co-host. And but especially I want to thank Marcus Crawford, Idaho Drones, for being our special guest tonight. You were a great guest host. It was great to have you on the show. Bill's giving me some kind of hand signals here, so I'm going to
Idaho quadcopter.
Idaho quadcopter. Sorry about that, Marcus. Thank you for your help, Bill. But so I'm going to throw it to Marcus for his final thoughts, so he can throw it back to Bill to wrap us up for the night.
Okay, great.
Take it away, Marcus.
Awesome. Hey, I just want to thank you guys for having me on as a guest, and Bill H. To be a guest on your show would be beyond cool with me. So anytime. I just want to add one more thing. Fly drones, have fun, don't sweat the small stuff. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir. Glad to have you on this week. Hopefully we'll have you on again at some future date. And I've been in negotiations, like I said earlier, to have Drone Seekers on, which would be a very fun and eventful evening. Just want to give everybody a heads up. We've already booked the entire month of April. Next week, we'll have Lovelady, Dennis Lovelady, from the Morning Sunrise crew to talk different things, maybe crystal sky, how they get up in the mornings and share the sunrises with their drones with us. And the next week after that will be Mr. Tommy Polo from the Drone Owners Network. Hopefully we'll have a surprise guest with him that week. We're still working on that one. And then to round out the month of April, confirmed last night on Mr. Bill the Drone Reviewer show, we will have Mr. Rick Smith on the 24th, the day after the predicted DJI event. So will we have
Wow.
Who knows? And with that, am grateful for everyone here. I loved everybody in the chat tonight, and we'll look to see you next week. Live long and prosper.